So, what's going on, YouTube? Today, I am going to be reviewing one of my favorite films of all time. A little film called Eternal Sunshine of a Spotless Mind. I've probably seen this movie a few hundred times, but never mentioned it, ironically. And been wanting to do classics for a while, so I'm going to review this. But today, I am not alone, in fact. I am joined by Imon Snow. Frost?
Well, I mean, on YouTube it's Imon Snow, but yeah.
All
Yeah,
right.
Frost.
Well, we have YouTuber Imon here. She's going to be assisting me in reviewing one of my favorite films ever. So,
Yes.
let's get into this. I think the easiest way to start is spoiler-free and spoiler-filled. We're going to keep the spoiler-free extremely short, though. So, spoiler-free thoughts of Eternal Sunshine. Well, like I said, this is the best romance movie that I've ever seen personally, and it's kind of like a sci-fi romance movie mindfuck from Michel Gondry, starring Jim Carrey and Kate Winslet, who she plays like a girlfriend that erases all of her memories of Jim Carrey. They used to be together. Jim Carrey has the same procedure done to him, but while he's inside his mind, while the memories are being deleted, he realizes that he still loves her. So, but yeah, it's one of my all-time favorite movies. So, do you have any spoiler-free
I know, right?
thoughts on this?
Well, it is one of the best, romance movies I've seen. I mean, it's more of a psychological movie, more so than it's a love and psychological movie. So it's kind of, it has its own category in a way, I guess, for me. But it was very great. Like, I watched it because you brought it up, and I was like, you know what? I've seen it, but it was like years ago, and I don't even think I finished it. So I watched it, and my mind was blown, obviously. And yeah. And so like I've been thinking about it ever since then, and I'm just like, it was beautiful, actually. Like, beautiful film.
Nice. Is there any other final spoiler-free thoughts? Well, first off, I love the film. You know how picky I am, so I would say watch it, give it a shot. It's definitely just blazingly original and weird, but
Yeah.
it's just one of the most mind-blowing movies I've ever seen. Yeah, and the soundtrack is one of my favorite soundtracks. So, easy 10 out of 10 for me. There's not even worth waiting on the rating. But any final spoiler-free thoughts for you before we dive into the details?
Yeah, I mean, it was, again, like you said, it's 10 out of 10. It's I could not have thought of it. And, shout out to the writer, director, everything, because like I said, it's beautiful. I really don't know I don't even know, like, what movies would it be closely related to? Like, kind of like an Inception, 500 Days of Summer.
Yeah, it's hard to compare it to any. I can't think of any romance films or most films in general that would compare.
Yeah.
I'm actually thinking of other movies that Charlie Kaufman, the screenwriter, has written actually. So I don't know, but it's quite the head trip. So we
Yeah.
clearly would recommend it. But enough of that. Let's dive into spoiler-filled territory. As far as spoilers goes, holy shit. I mean, the structure of this movie is sort of mind-melting to me. So I think that's a good place to start because, well, actually, I guess let's back up. Let's start with the main characters. I guess Joel Barish and Clementine. I don't recall Clementine's last name, but I think they're just exceptional the way that they're written, like how Joel, he's very like this very down kind of just a guy who's just having a hard time romantically, very introverted, and like with her, she's like just like the complete opposite. She's loud. She's kind of bipolar to me. I think they're a perfect match, and I just think they're well-written characters. Yeah, your thoughts on that?
No, yeah, I mean, from the moment you see her, she's got like her hair. Her hair is kind of her personality.
Yeah.
So she always has different hair. So like you said, like kind of like a bipolar type of up and down personality traits she has. Whereas he's very like just monotone in a way. Like he's one way,
Yeah.
straight, and she's all over the place. So opposites attract, obviously,
True.
especially in this movie. Yeah, and even I guess their names. I feel like their names are kind of like they show that too, because Clementine is not a. It's kind of an unusual name. Like it's not something you hear all the time, and then just plain old Joe. So
Yeah, yeah. That's true. I think Joel was talking about the meaning of her name. Oh well, he was singing like a nursery rhyme. You know, oh my darling, Clementine. He was singing that part, which I like totally forgot that even existed, that song. But
right.
and I love always crack up at her reaction to the song. She always seems offended. She's just like, "What the hell is that?" And it's a pretty famous saying, I would think. But I guess next we could talk about the performances, sort of like just overall. I think that I feel like there's a small net of people that, for some reason, just always have a small time or a hard time with Jim Carrey's serious acting roles. But I think he nails it out of the park during serious acting roles, as long as it's not the number 23. But he's pretty fantastic. And he's great in this film. Probably, maybe his best work besides The Truman Show. Kate Winslet is fantastic. Love all the different hair colors changes as well. And then, who else was in there? Elijah Wood was in there. I almost forgot.
That, like, when he popped up, I was like, what? No way.
Yeah, yeah.
Cool.
Kirsten Dunst.
And Dunst, Mark Ruffalo.
I can't remember. I'll have to pull up the IMDb. The heavier set guy that Kirsten Dunst fell in love with. He was in Batman Begins. I can't think of his character name or his real life name, but I thought the performances all around were great. Your thoughts on that?
I agree completely. Like I said, I didn't know. Yeah, Mark Ruffalo was in it. Kirsten Dunst. Like, I feel like at that time too, all three of them are really popular, and were in like a lot of movies. And Jim Carrey, they were in like a lot of movies, kind of. At that time, I think they all did like a great job. Like that was great casting. Honestly, like I couldn't think of anybody else in any of the roles. And I don't. So this is spoiler.
Oh yeah, we're full spoilers.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I wanted to bring this up because, like I said, I was trying to watch some, kind of refresh my memory on it, and so and I don't remember Elijah Wood's name in the movie.
Yeah, I'm actually trying to.
Are you looking at that?
Yeah, because I forgot. Okay, Joel Barish. Patrick.
Patrick, okay.
Yeah.
So there's the scene where Joe is talking to his friends, and he's like, I went up to her and she didn't even remember me. She acted like she didn't even know who I was. And then they show Patrick, and you can't see his face at the moment. And then it kind of comes back to where he does meet him at one point, and he asks, when he comes up and he's like, what are you doing here? Or whatever. And so they have like a moment of meeting. And so when he tries to see his face, he can never like see it. So what do you think that was for him?
Why he
like why he couldn't see his face.
Sure. Oh man, this might take me a second. This is hard to articulate because when he goes to see her and she's just acting super weird, and he's like, because he doesn't realize that her mind's been erased.
Yeah.
I think that during that Patrick moment, I think I would just say that Patrick was. I mean, he noticed that she was kind of acting irregular about the guy, but maybe he just wasn't that cognitive of Patrick, to be honest with you. Maybe
Yeah.
that's just why his face was sort of kind of all mismatched. I mean, it could be more so for the audience to kind of mess with them, maybe, because Joel for sure like saw the guy's face.
Hmm.
I think it's a two-parter, probably to mess with the audience, just because,
Yeah. That's
and also because it was probably just a lot for him to take in emotionally, and he probably just didn't cognitively
Yeah, I think that's the
remember.
cognitive. Yeah, I thought that was, I mean, that happened a few times with like faces kind of being, they looked erased or whatever.
Yeah.
But I mean, maybe that's like the brain when you, because he did remember kind of the outline
Mhm.
of Patrick, but he just, I don't think he got a good look at the face. So it was kind
Yeah.
of like he couldn't get that possibly. So it's like again, kind of in like in our brain. They probably did some studies or whatever what they thought would happen. Like it's so like, it's not an easy movie to just talk about. There's so much.
I mean, maybe if like I'm just gonna use an example. Like if I was on a train and like the chick that I used to love was like coming back on the train, like she was riding past, and for a moment I just saw her with some guy. I mean, maybe there could be a similar situation if someone, if I walked away shortly after, someone asked me to like describe that guy, I'd be like, you know,
You're right.
the details might not be exact. So I don't know. Maybe that ties into it a little bit. Maybe, but tickle in the throat. But that also reminds me of that really weird. The heavier set guy. His name was Frank. The character, at least.
Huh.
There's a part where Joel was inside his mind talking to him, and he was like, "Oh, that's Patrick, baby boy," and like this. The,
Yeah.
the humor in this movie is so weird.
Well, what that didn't even make sense. Is that like not supposed to, it's not even supposed to, is it? Or I mean,
I
I don't know.
guess, I guess it was just supposed to represent just how strange it would be inside of your own mind. I guess.
Right. Okay.
Um, Maybe I don't know. Like I lucid dream a lot, and it can be pretty weird when you're aware of like dreams or memories inside of dreams. So never know. I'd actually be curious if Charlie Kaufman has had lucid dreams. Maybe he
Yeah.
has. I don't know. Where to go to next? I guess what just are some scenes that really stand out to you? I guess.
Well, okay, so my favorite scene, because honestly, this movie is all about its scenes. Like each scene in the movie is actually like it tells a story. Every scene is beautiful, like
Yeah.
beautifully shot, and like you said, the soundtrack in each of the scenes is just beautiful, and it goes very well. And when so it's kind of hard to pick a favorite, but I think the one that like kind of broke me, kind of where I was like, uh-oh, a tear is coming, must be when he's in his head and his memories are being erased. And it's almost every memory was kind of negative until they're under the covers and they're talking and she's telling him how she's always felt ugly and she had that doll and she thought kind of, I don't remember the exact words, but like maybe making the doll feel beautiful or something like that. She would, and then he just starts telling her, "You're pretty, you're pretty," and then and my heart. I mean, I think because I could relate to that. I guess in real life, maybe just of like maybe relationships or something where people want to feel beautiful or attractive, handsome, whatever that may be to their significant other.
Mhm.
And it was just like it broke up all of the whole like because it started to make her look crazy and like this horrible person, and then that moment comes and he's just like, oh man, she wasn't that bad, and he starts chasing and like, please don't let me forget this, and it's
Yeah,
beautiful.
I do like how the film sort of makes her seem like this extremely bipolar, kind of crazy person, where they start to humanize her more and more, make her more sympathetic. Kind of like in that moment, which I've always loved underneath the covers, just like this strange dreamlight tangerine lighting going on against the blankets. Is really interesting. Yeah, that's a great moment. A lot of my favorite moments are extremely random, like when they go out on the frozen lake at Montauk or whatever, and she's like, "Tell me about one of your favorite constellations," And she's like, "I don't have any." She's just like, "Tell me." It's like insidious, emphatic. Kills me every time. What else comes to mind? I love a moment where it's Joel and Clementine in the woods in his mind, and she's just like, "Well, just wake yourself up then." And he's like, "All right, oh, great idea, all right." But like he actually sees for a moment.
Yeah.
That was weird. But I gotta say, my favorite moment is definitely towards the end, where they're in the library, and it's like the final memories are being deleted. And I didn't notice this until the second viewing, but everything in the background is like fading to white as they're talking, and then she does like a little kiss or a nose bump or something before she like vanishes. Just that conversation is so just haunting to me. It's just like, whoa, the thought process that went into that scene is pretty incredible to me. What did you think about that scene, actually?
Well, I mean, like they were in the library a few times, right? That scene kind of.
I think so. Yeah.
It kind of or I mean, Barnes and Nobles, or I don't even know. Was it? I don't even know what.
I think it was Barnes and Nobles. I think.
It's a library either way.
Either way.
The structure is weird because it's not starting out in the actual beginning. So like, and that's why I wanted to ask you that, because I just realized. I mean, I realized it when I was finished watching the movie, but then rewatching the beginning. He's literally just waking up from getting his memory erased, right? And like you hear the car leaving. Is that them leaving?
Yeah, the beginning where he wakes up is this is like after Mark Ruffalo and Elijah Wood have done their job.
Okay, right.
Extremely confusing and trippy. Once you see it a few more times, it's like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Because I can't remember if going to Montauk was his initial idea. I can't remember. I get that mixed up for some reason.
He did say he's just gonna go. I'm going to Montauk, and I don't know why.
Yeah.
He didn't even know why.
And oh wait, pause. Are we back? Are we back now?
Oh yeah.
We're back. We're back. Excuse us, but yeah, it's really trippy when they get on the train, and it's weird that they just so happen to meet again. They didn't have to. They didn't have to ever meet again in life. No. And it's really bizarre to me that even though all of his memories have been wiped, he felt a need to go to this place where she's been. That part is, I would actually like to talk about that for a second, because I've been trying for years to think about what that might mean. The only answer I can come up with is that maybe there is no such thing as deleting a memory, whether from your mind or even on a computer. Like maybe you can't delete something at all, period. Maybe you can forget, but maybe it's never gone, the memory. Kind of like, I don't know, like if you were perfect at basketball, but you got hit by a car, coma, months, wake up, you forgot about basketball, but when you go to play basketball again, maybe there's like the muscle memory.
Yeah.
I don't know, thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, well, that's what it was the whole time. When I realized it was them over and over doing this, they kept erasing their memories, and they kept meeting each other again. Like, that's their whole life, pretty much. That would be, I mean, first of all, I guess if there is true love or soulmates, then they must be their soulmates, each other's soulmates. But yeah, you definitely, you can't get that out of your body. Like, and there wasn't that like much of what is it, like testing done. Like, I mean, it seemed like it was pretty new, and they were still unsure. 'Cause, I mean, the brain is so big. I mean, it's small, but it's so big. Like, if it were to be like a computer or something, I've heard that, and cut this out if this is wrong, but I've heard the brain, if it were to be a computer, it'd be like the Empire State Building. Like, there's so many, as big as, like, there's so many just different things going on in the different pathways, different, just, you can't really break into the mind. There's always going to be something.
Are you talking about, like, in terms of complexity?
Yeah, yes,
Okay.
yes.
Sure.
Yeah, it's very complex.
Yeah, it's crazy to me. That's interesting you mentioned the soulmate angle. I've never actually considered that. I always thought maybe it's just like the craziest form of like muscle memory ever.
It could definitely be that too.
Because it happened again. I'm just going to call it muscle memory because I don't know what else to call it. But when Elijah Wood, Patrick, when she and Kate Winslet, when they're on the frozen lake, and what a creeper, you know. But when he's he's trying to copy Joel, you know, because she doesn't remember. So she's like, well, Joel did all this, and she doesn't remember a word. Let me do it. And he's kind of reciting something that he said in the frozen lake, and it's like she remembers even though she didn't, you know. It's really bizarre. Like, she gets up and she feels sick, and she's like, I have to leave, you know.
Yeah, she looked pissed off too.
Yeah,
honestly, like, she was really like she heard this before. Like, this isn't, and it's not from this guy. So yeah, maybe it is muscle memory. Something.
I don't know. It's really the movie's full of some crazy ideas. A lot of crazy visual ideas too. Like, I'm not sure what one of your favorite visual moments are. I know for me, it's definitely when the two of them, Joel and Clementine, where they're on the couch, and he said something like, I can't remember anything without you. And she's like, well, that's sweet, but try. And he remembers like a really old childhood memory where it's raining, and it starts to rain like in the living room, literally, and they just disappear.
I like that scene too, actually.
Amazing.
Yeah,
what about you? Any favorite scenes visually that stand out?
I mean, that definitely was one of them. I think that, gosh, oh man, I don't know, that visually, I'd have to say that probably, oh my god, it's so hard. How do you even choose? Like, there's so many, like, I really liked that scene too when they went back, like, he went back to childhood and that little...
Yeah, when it was like raining, and he even like copies himself, which is so weird, where he's like underneath the table sticking his hand out. That's crazy.
I don't know.
I mean, I know another one I could throw out to help you out. Maybe it'll jog something. It's when this is weird. When they're in the kitchen and they're themselves, Joel and Clementine, but like they're their adult selves, but like they're at, like, Joel is his 4-year-old self or something, and everything is big as hell.
Yeah.
I guess Kate Winslet's like portraying his aunt or something. I can't remember. But that was just nuts to me. Like, Jim Carrey's like in his pajamas, and like literally the set is huge. Like, it's, I know there's like angle trickery, you know, but still, like, everything just seems larger than life, and even him being bathed in the giant sink, like that
was what I was going to say. Like, when Joel was thinking of that memory of being in the sink, I don't know why that was, I don't know if it was the music in the background, but it was so soothing. They made that well because I feel like if you were a baby or a child getting bathed, they made that. I felt it too. Like I was like, oh man, nostalgia right now. And then it like they're drowning. That scared me. Actually, it's like that's a horrible feeling.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. I guess another one would be the scene where Frank, where he's like, Patrick, baby boy. That scene, when that scene gets deleted, but somehow the Joel is just like, let's go through memories that have already been erased, and they go through that section again, and like people's faces are warped, and that was weird.
yeah, and then the music that kind of horror type, just shocking type thing. I was like, oh god, I hate this type of stuff. Personally, I just like always freaks me out when like weird stuff like that happens, but it worked.
Yeah.
Very well. I mean, maybe the last scene too, when they're in the house and it's falling apart. Visually, that was really beautiful, and just them talking, like it's kind of like normal, and she's just walking up the stairs, and yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, the only other things that come to mind are like other really random moments. Like there's a really strange moment where they're on the ice lake and Kate Winslet gets like dragged away and he gets on his knees and he's like, I want to call it off, but like it cuts to that and Mark Ruffalo and Kirsten Dunst dancing in their underwear like, yeah. So weird.
Yeah. Oh well, now you brought it. Oh well, we're both having like both thinking at the same time.
Yeah.
Hey, what were you gonna say actually?
No, the only other thing is I was gonna say this might be my second favorite scene of all, just period, visual, whatever, is when it has a really awesome song to it, but it's when Kirsten Dunst, she's telling Frank the quote, which recalls the title of the movie, literally, and there's this fantastic piano number going, and it's Joel and Clementine with a voiceover by Kirsten Dunst. It's like they're in the middle of the street. It looks like they're in New York or something. Probably not, but there was elephants and I don't know. It's a very small moment, but I love that scene. It's perfectly cut together. Like it just perfectly captures their romance. Great sequence. But anyways.
Well, that I actually was going to talk about Mary and Frank's dynamic too, and I think it was after that actual little poem or quote that she said.
Yeah.
Because that was very interesting to see that them have that kiss, and so that's kind of something I wanted to talk about, because we as audience members were like, oh my god, and then we see his wife coming and we're like, oh no, like don't get caught, and she sees, and we think that she's mad and she's like leaving, and she tells Mary, no, this is basically this has happened, and we figure out that she had her memory erased too, so her muscle memory or whatever it is keeps bringing her back.
True. Yeah, because she had a little playful flirtation going on with Frank in the room, which when I first saw it, I was like, this feels really random, but all right. But we get like a huge answer to that. She's actually sort of, I don't know, a victim to technology, I guess. I don't know. Do you think that was right of her to, like, try to make everyone remember what they forgot? Like, should you have the ability to delete your memories?
I mean, I personally just don't believe if that existed today, I wouldn't do it. Even though, there's a lot of horrible memories that all of us we've had, or we've been through some heartbreaks or whatever it may be. I think that those things are good for you. So I think she did the right thing because, but see, the thing is, I don't know if she did it out of trying to help people or if it was more of a selfish reasoning, because she was upset after she found her file. She kind of like looked really pissed off, and like, so maybe it was she was trying to help people.
I don't know. I mean, she does raise a good philosophical question, like maybe we do need every memory, despite whatever that may be.
Yeah.
Even if we do have the power to sort of just erase it or whatever, we need it. You know.
Right.
I mean, I guess there is that for sure.
So
Yeah.
maybe what it was too is that she believed in this, so she worked in a place where she's like, you know what, this is right, we're helping people, like we're doing good in this world. But when she realized that it did not even work on her, and she kept going back to Frank, maybe that was something for her to be like, maybe this isn't right, like it doesn't really work, because this is still happening, like you can't stop fate or whatever.
Yeah, you did bring up an interesting point of like, just because you erase the memories of that person, you just reset yourself. Like if you see them again, you're still gonna be attracted to them. You know, you're still gonna want to be with them, be like, ooh, look at that person. You know, you can't remove that. You know, from erasing memories. That's a good point, actually. Yeah, never thought about it in that way. God, that's trippy.
That is trippy. I want to say something, but I don't, because that's going to be on YouTube. I'll save it for you later. Because honestly, I swear to you, this happened to me. Okay. Something similar happened where my memory was erased. It wasn't erased. It was just, okay, I forgot something, and that thing like that, you can't stop. Some things you just can't stop.
Yeah.
That's so crazy that you just brought that up, because that is really trippy.
Okay, yeah. Wouldn't that have been wild if her memory was just erased? Holy shit. By someone, you know? Like in, how many of you have seen Upstream Color? Let me know. Alright. Well,
I still need to see that.
Anyway, so right now we are at the 36-minute mark. So I guess this is probably a good segue to get into our, I guess, just final thoughts of the film. I love the movie to death. I think prior to this movie, I mean, I'm not sure how old Moulin Rouge is with Ewan McGregor. I love the movie. I can't explain it, motherfuckers. Don't look at me that way. But I love that movie. You know, I hate musicals. But outside of that, I can't really think of any romance movie that, like, I consider it to be a romance movie, that when I watched it, it just super stuck with me like this one. I just can't. This was the first one that told me, like, oh, you could actually do some interesting things with romance. It's interesting. Concept wise, you could go out there and like blow someone's mind. What was the point I was trying to make? Oh, final thoughts. Final thoughts.
Right.
Let's start with you. Final thoughts on the film?
Sure. Yeah, so basically, again, something that you probably want to watch a few times to gather everything. And I feel like even at that point, you may not even get everything, because there literally is, in every scene, there's like an Easter egg of something, like so you would never have known the beginning was not the actual beginning. You'd have to rewatch it to be like, oh wait, he just woke up from that, and then they actually met here, and you know, different things like that. And so yeah, it's not only is it like a love story, not only does it have Kate Winslet, who's amazing, and Jim Carrey, who I love Jim Carrey. I've loved him since, like, God, Liar Liar, Ace Ventura, like, The Truman Show is literally one of my favorite movies.
The Truman Show.
Dumb and Dumber. I just think he is a great actor. Like, he's hilarious, but he can really take it serious.
Sure.
He has really great moments with that. And so, yeah, this is a movie, I always think when I get out of a movie theater or I'm done watching a movie, if it doesn't stick with me for more than like an hour, like 10 minutes or an hour, like that wasn't a good movie, or it was okay. When it kind of like when I watch something and it stays, it's like in my DNA now because this movie is now a part of me. I can't help it, but it is. That's like it's like a masterpiece. Like you can't even. I don't even know. Like honestly, this like if you haven't seen this movie, you have to see this movie. I think anybody would like it, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, if for some reason you have not seen this movie and you just watched the whole video straight out, son of a bitch. But seriously, I think the last thing I'll comment on is it's one of the most complex movies I've ever seen, especially from a structure standpoint. I can't emphasize that enough. Like the fact that the beginning of the movie is actually a part of the ending, but yeah, that I don't know, that just bends my mind. Like the beginning is the end, but it's almost like a partial end of the ending. Like it's I don't know, it blows my mind. Because like at the beginning where Clementine says something about toothbrush. I don't know, she's about to go to the apartment to get it. She was just sleeping in the car, and Joel's chilling in the car, and then Patrick comes up. When I first saw that, I was just like, what was up with that random scene, But when you get to the end of the movie, you're just like, wait. Like, it makes sense, but I need some time to process. Like, or I know at the beginning as well, when he's sitting on the beach, and he has the notebook, and there's a page ripped out. The first few times that I would watch the movie over and over again, I would be like, wait, why is the page ripped out again? I can't remember. It's just a fantastic movie. Like I see something new or think about something differently each time I watch the movie. So
yeah, I know. We can talk about this for like a few days, actually.
I think we could, but I'm hoping that this is the longest running discussion on Eternal Sunshine of a Spotless Mind on YouTube. That would make me happy because I love the movie to pieces. It's really something. I feel like it's kind of oddly underrated. I mean, it's loved critically and by most people who've seen it, but it's not like not too many people seem to know about it, except for us. We know about it. We're special.
And because of you, because of Jor-Els, that's why I watch it. So, yeah.
All right, cool. Well, I think if you don't have any other thoughts, I think we're gonna go offline here. Yeah, if you've seen the film, which I'm hoping that you have, what are your thoughts? Give us your feedback down below. And I think we're out. Oh, do you want to give like a selfish plug to your channel or anything? She is a YouTuber, so just a reminder.
Yeah, if anyone even watched this long, which we hope. Yeah, I mean, come on. Yeah, I'm Imon_Snow. I do reaction videos to Game of Thrones, The Walking Dead, which is not on right now, but a few other shows, and I'm want to do more movie reviews, definitely on my channel. That's because I love film, so that's something. But yeah, if you want to come over, you don't have to, but I shouldn't say that, right? Like I should.
Just do it.
There's so much.
Go to her channel. It's a good time. And again, let us know your feedback down below, and we're out. Peace, guys.